People power growth, but recruiting and onboarding are expensive, exhausting, and absolutely overwhelming. I've been there, and it doesn't have to be this way. Welcome to Hire and Empower. I'm your host, Molly McGrath. Join me as we interview leaders who care about their teams and distill powerful lessons from them. This show is sponsored by H&E, helping organizations to find their best hire and empower them for success. Learn more at hiringandempowering.com. Okay, folks, we're talking about everyone's favorite subject today. We are talking about marketing. Listen, the title of this is Estate and Elder Law Attorneys, Everything You Need to Crush Your 2023 Goals. If you are not an estate planning or elder law attorney or law firm, do not shut this down. Continue to listen. Our guest today, Laura Lee Sparks, founder of Legal Marketing Maven. Her niche is estate planning and elder law attorneys. However, she is the guru in all things legal marketing. So you can take what we're talking about today and apply it to your practice. You just can't hire Laura Lee because she only works with estate planning and elder law attorneys. So Laura Lee, thank you for being our guest today.
Oh, thank you for having me, Molly. It's always a pleasure when we can get together and chat marketing.
Yes. And of course, you and I, we were just chatting and you opened up your vault, which you do every year around this time. Tell our listeners, and you said this has been one of the best years ever that we've had. And you've been doing legal marketing for how many years now?
Oh my gosh, we're going on 20 years. We're going on 20 years. I've been working with estate and elder law attorneys for over 30. So I used, in the beginning, I was in-house. I was the paralegal, the office manager, running all the things. Then I switched virtual and was doing more administrative VA type of work, drafting the documents. And I just really saw the need for the help with getting marketing implemented. And this was back in the early, 2000s. And, lawyers were learning what they needed to do and going back to their team and saying, okay, we need to have a blog and a website and and an electronic newsletter to go out and all of these things. And, social media wasn't really a thing yet even. And their staff was like, what? I don't know anything about that, So I saw that need, and that's where Legal Marketing Maven was really born, was to fill that need. And then, with my background being estate planning, it was a natural fit for me to work with estate and elder law attorneys. And I was a caregiver for a long time, and I have a lot of personal experiences with my mom and my dad, my husband, and then my son. So it's just really a heart mission for me to work with that demographic,
Oh, yes, it is. Anybody who has worked with you, follow you on social media, they know that it is in your bones, your blood, and the depths of your heart. No question. So tell us what we're sitting here. It is a brand new year. We're on the cusp of 2023. We're sitting here with a blank white page. What are you seeing is working for estate marketing?
Here's what I know works for estate and elder law attorneys, and that is that a lot of their business comes by way of referrals, and they don't really put a lot of effort into creating an actual marketing plan around that, right? It's like, oh, well, if they send me a referral, great. If they don't, great. But they get referrals just because they're doing a good job, not because they're really setting an intention and a plan behind generating referrals, right? And so what I'm seeing working is that when we start to look at marketing as if it's like building a friendship, we start to see the increase of referrals. And referrals come from professionals, they come from organizations, they come from community leaders, they come from your clients, right? They come from a multitude of different places, your friends, your family, all of those things are places that can generate referrals. And it's easy to build a relationship by simply showing up and showing up consistently, right? And what and with technology now makes it really easy to do that, right? And I'm not saying rely completely on the technology, but it does make a lot of it easier. So sending out that monthly newsletter that is personalized, that has a note that's allowing people a little peek inside your life, or a little peek inside what the firm is doing, and how, what they're participating in the community, things of that nature. So really building a relationship, not an article about the changing law that's happening, even though that's important. Write a little note about how it might affect their family and why it's important, right? They're trusting you to know what the law is and all the legal technical stuff. You don't need to explain it to them. You need to explain how it's going to impact them. So that's one thing. We see the biggest ROI on having a consistent newsletter that's going out to the database, right? Then having a presence on social media, showing up on social media regularly with valuable content, right? And not just, hey, call my law firm, we can help you create an estate plan, right? You don't have to just be selling all the time. Share other articles, share resources, share other community events that are going on that are relatable to your demographic, to your clients that you're working with, right? So be a pillar of information, as well as integrating, hey, I wrote this new article that's, gives you some tips to, you know, tips to look for as you have holiday meals with your loved ones, right? So you're sharing information, but make it diversified. So diversify that whole process. And then of course, keep your website updated, keep your Google My Business page updated, ask for testimonials, right? Because even referrals, if you refer me to somebody, Molly, I'm going to be like, hey, Molly said this person's good. I need to call them because I trust your opinion. But I'm still going to do a little bit of research. I'm still going to go pull them up on LinkedIn and check them out a little bit, or pull them up on Facebook and Google their name and go to their website. And people are doing the same thing even when they get a referral to a law firm. So having a good website presence, having a good Google My Business presence, having those testimonials is super, super important. So those, again, consistency with building relationships. And, we can take it further as we go into the professional relationships, but we talked about kind of technology being important and making it easier. We used to have to do all this thing by picking up the phone, by putting something in the mail. We used to have to do it pretty manually. Now we have technology that helps, but we can't forget about those other ways of doing it, right? We still have to pick up the damn phone, right?
Well, I love a few things that you're saying. I love be a pillar of information. Absolutely a value creator, a thought leader on all things, social media, what have you. I'm blown away in this day and age of how many attorneys do not have a social or digital footprint still.
Yeah.
And I love what you said about even updating your website. Even if you come from a referral source, you are going to Google the person, no question. And as you know, I do a big portion of my business is legal recruiting. I can't tell you, even your potential new employees, how many candidates, when we find they're a good fit, and then we divulge a law firm and they look at their website, they're like, no thanks. And it's because it's outdated. There's no relevant information on there. And because you have to remember, people are constantly Googling you, number one, but number two, for candidates, or I'm sitting down to breakfast and I say, hey, you need to call my estate planning attorney or what have you. And when it's top of mind for you, somebody else might refer their estate planning attorney as well. Most people are shopping, whether it's putting hardwood floors in their house, hiring a new doctor or a new attorney. The rule of thumb that most people have, whether it's conscious or subconscious, is get 3 quotes, meet 3 people, go. And if your website's out today, you have no Google reviews and you have no presence, and the guy down the street has all that in place, you're competing with that. And I think a lot of times people are like, well, I get all my business from referrals. And I want you to talk about this a little bit of, and what I love that you said in the beginning is it's one thing, I think people think they have a referral system. They don't. It includes sending a thank you card.
Yeah.
And that's not even all the time. It's
Right.
half the time, right?
So true. I always, when I'm talking to a new prospect or a new attorney into my world, and I say to them, where's your business coming from? And they tell me 80% of it's coming by way of referral. That's exactly the answer. I say, well, what are you doing to nurture those relationships? And they say, oh, well, I always send a thank you card. I'm like, okay, and then it's crickets, right? Oh, I sometimes send a holiday package, right? It's just such a neglected area. And when you get intentional about it, it just takes off. And a lot of times what I hear in the estate and elder law world is, well, I can't send referrals back. A lot of times, it's a financial advisor, it's CPA. My clients are already working with their own financial advisor or CPA, so I can't refer back. Well, there's so many ways to bring value to a relationship, right? And again, if we go back to treat it as a friendship, right? If you had a friend, Molly, if the only time you heard from me, I consider a friend. The only time you
Absolutely.
heard from me was when you sent me a client and I said thanks. That wouldn't be a friendship,
Right.
right? No, but when I see that you're going out looking at colleges with your daughter and you're
Oof.
going to be an empty nester, and I'm sending you a personal text message saying, oh my gosh, how exciting, that's a friendship.
Yes.
It
Our
takes
true relationship.
It's right. It's relationship. And it doesn't take a lot of effort, right? And so we need to build those things in, and you can systematize it. You can put a process to it. You can, as you're meeting new connections, you can literally lay this out bit by bit. You meet a new connection, day 1, you're adding them to your database. Day 2, or a week later, you're connecting with them on Facebook, thanking them for having lunch with you. You're dropping a note card in the mail to them. Like there can be a whole system, maybe month 2, you're connecting with them on LinkedIn. Hey, I just noticed we weren't, all these little touches from various things, then it becomes a relationship, right?
And it's systematized. I love what you said earlier, way back when we started, like technology wasn't necessarily a thing. Now, I love what you're saying. And I wrote down some notes here of where the relationship can meet the technology. So to your point, I send you, hey, Lorley, call my estate planning friend, what have you. And one touch, you get entered into the CRM, then the thank you card goes out, or the thank you email, or what have you. Having that documented in the CRM and being able to pull the report, a referral management report every month, and seeing, okay, great, where did all of our referrals come from this week? Because so often people will say, oh, we don't know, we're not doing Google AdWords or Facebook ads or any of that jazz or what have you. We get all our business from referral source. I'm like, really interesting. Who are your top 10 referral sources? And it's crickets, or they're just kind of grabbing for straws. I'm like, what percentage of the referrals that they send to you do they hire? And when's the last time that you got a referral from Bob?
Mhm.
Not knowing that information, because if you think you don't have to be digital, you don't think you have to be visible, you do not think that you have to continually be brainstorming and pouring into your referral sources and all your marketing, you're nuts, because this is part of your nurture campaign with your referral source, because they're getting bombarded by every other attorney
Mm,
out there.
absolutely. Absolutely. You've got to stand out. And again, I can't stress enough of not depending solely on the technology as far as your communication
Yeah.
channel, right? Because we know that you and I were just talking before we started recording, and you were like, I was telling you about things that are going on, and you were like, I'm not getting your emails.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, we've known each other for how many years, right? And you're not getting my emails. So we looked through it, and, technology breaks.
Yes. Yeah. It was an
Technology,
old email address.
it was an old email address, right?
Yep.
So again, we can't just depend on email communication. We have to put things in the mail. We have to do all of these other things. And also, we cannot forget about the other types of referrals, not just professionals, but your clients and your,
Mhm.
you know, and you have to have a system where you are continuously communicating. I cannot tell you how many times I talk to a law firm and I say, well, are you communicating regularly with your past clients? And they're like, no, mm-mm, haven't talked to them since I did their plan. And I'm just like,
Or they, I have firms that I just have to hop on this. I had a firm this week tell me they're just finally getting it up to speed with blogging and newsletters and all that jazz. And they were talking about the list, right? And so many people get crippled by this list. Like,
yes.
we got to segregate, we can't hit our existing clients because they already bought from us. We don't want to bother them, but bullshit. Like, and it was so funny because they're like, make sure there's no existing clients on our blog list. I'm like, what? What and why?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I don't want to bother them because they already bought from us. I'm like, oh my God. You work with so many firms, and the firms that I work with, we track every single week where every single solitary call came into that law firm and every single hire. The average is 13.5% that come from existing client referrals.
Hmm.
13.5%.
Hmm.
That's a huge chunk, I
And
think.
it really increases when you communicate with them.
Yes. Yes.
Right? It really increases when you communicate with them. So, when we're looking at, what is working, those relationships are working. That's really, the consistent reaching out, touching, nurturing, getting a system in place. A lot of our firms do print newsletters. Some of them do them monthly, some do them bi-monthly, some do them quarterly. And then they take those print newsletters and they print extras, and they have them in their waiting area. They give them to referral sources. They give them, they put them in their pre-meeting packages, right? So all of these different ways that you can touch and leave behind information, and build and grow relationships is so important, and I mean, so affordable, right? It's not it's not, I'm not here to tell you that you need to spend a $5,000 ad budget on Facebook ads this week.
I highly recommend that you do not. I don't know, Lorley, I would love your thought on this. Until you get your referral management system, your blog, your newsletter, and some of these, nurture and less expensive, for lack of a better term, activities, consistent, persistent, and a strategy. it breaks my heart when I see so many people throw money at Facebook ads and SEO and pay-per-click and what have you. And when I talk about their referral management system, when I talk about their nurture system for their existing database, they're not doing it.
So it's putting the cart in front of the horse, right? Until you get those foundational pieces in place, and not just that they're in place, but they're actually happening consistently. And when I say consistently, that doesn't mean it happens 1 month and then it happens again in 3 months and then it happens again in 9 months. That's
Nobody
not
knows what she's
right.
talking about, do
That's
you?
not what I'm talking about. I mean, like it's consistent. Every week there's things that are happening, right? I mean, I do a marketing plan workshop every year, and we break it down to what needs to be happening daily, what needs to be happening weekly, what needs to be happening bi-weekly, monthly, quarterly, the whole gamut, right? So once you get those foundational pieces in place and they're actually happening, you know they're happening, that's when you can spend money or should spend money to drive and put new leads into that system, because that system is what's going to generate clients, right? You've got to nurture the relationship, you know, especially in the estate planning world. There's not a statute of limitations. There's not some big deadline on like April 15th to have your estate plan filed, right?
Yeah.
So you've got to nurture those relationships. It's a sensitive topic. It's, you know, there's a multitude of reasons that it takes a little while for somebody to really be ready to move forward, typically with pulling the trigger and scheduling that appointment. So the better you can nurture that relationship, the better. And once you do, those referrals just come in, or, you know, it doesn't take additional effort.
So is that something, tell our listeners what you and your team do and how you can support them with what we're talking about today for our estate planning law firms.
So yeah, I mean, I think that we just continue to do things consistently. We make sure that if we're driving new leads, they're going into a funnel that works. We maintain all of our relationships. We have a system and a process for doing that. And, you know, I have trainings on this and I have a lot of resources on this. And so I'm happy to have people, you know, go to my website and shoot me an email. There's a way to schedule an appointment with me if you want to sit down and talk about referral relationship materials and things like that. We have over 200 campaigns that we've created for estate and elder law attorneys over the years. So there's pretty much not a marketing channel that we don't have a done for you ready-made funnel and collateral material, print ads, all the things, right? And then doing the consistent generation of content for your blog, for your social media, for your newsletter, for a print newsletter, electronic newsletter, videos. Videos are huge right now. If you're not doing videos, you need to be. You know, I mean, I've been saying that for 10 years now.
Yeah, you have.
And now it's not an option, right? Like you have to have a video presence. That's where people are going. Most searches are now being done on YouTube. And what's really fascinating is that is followed by TikTok.
I know.
I'm crazy. Okay. So you've got to be doing videos. It's just a necessity. And, you know, we have a program where we deliver all of that.
That was my question. Do you have a program? Because you hear this word consistency all the time. You hear daily, you hear weekly, you hear biweekly, you hear monthly, you hear quarterly. And some people might get overwhelmed, like what, when, where, why, how, all the things. Is this something you help them with?
Yeah, it's definitely, we have a program where we deliver every month all of those things. So we write it all, it's all editable format. We design everything. So you're getting Canva templates. So it's a great program for those that have a team that can implement. And it's a great program for those that don't have a team and are trying to do it all themselves, because you're not trying to come up with everything
Yes.
from scratch at the beginning of every month. And what I love about our program is we deliver it the month before, so there's plenty of time for implementation, right? So they get all the material. So like in December, we're delivering for January. They're getting all of their January content at the beginning of December. So they have the whole month to implement everything, and it's literally copying and pasting once it's edited, and the edits are minimal, you know, unless you're really wanting to rewrite everything, which I don't recommend.
No.
I don't recommend,
No.
but I mean, so that's a great program. It's super affordable. We've made it that way, so that firms can stay consistent. Because at the end of the day, my goal is to reach as many families as possible to explain to them the importance of estate planning
Yes.
and how I can do that. If I do that every day, if every day I know that because of the content I'm creating, this many families got a plan in place to protect their family from the chaos and all of the things if their family should experience tragedy or incapacity or anything like that. If I can wake up every morning knowing that, then I'm starting my day very well. So I know I'm doing what I'm put here on this earth to do, right? So we make it super affordable for the attorneys, and we deliver that. We do, like I said, have all the other campaigns, and then we do implementation. There's a lot of services that we provide to estate and elder law attorneys. So it's really great just to go to my website and schedule an appointment, and we can chat about where you're at, what your needs are, and really what you're looking for.
What's your website? How can our listeners find you?
So it's super easy. Legal Marketing Maven, Maven. And for those wondering what in the heck does Maven mean, it means expert. So just go there. There's a big button to have a virtual cup of coffee with me, and you can click that and we can sit down and chat about what your needs are, what your team looks like, and what your budget looks like, and just really do an evaluation. It's what I love doing that.
You do. Oh, and we'll put it in the show notes for those of you that are out driving, exercising, and not by a computer. We'll put it in the show notes for you. Laura Lee, thank you. Thank you for being our guest today. Greatly, greatly appreciate. And thank you for all the work. I love that your mission, I mean, just as you were sharing it, that you can touch families with the content and the copy. So many attorneys, I want you guys to get really clear on your why. What is your why you're doing what you're doing, and how many families do you want to impact? How many families do you want to impact in 2023? As we're sitting here at the start of a brand new year, get really clear. Don't make it about money goals. Don't make it about all this other stuff. Everybody's screaming about that. Your why, how many families would make you absolutely delighted when we're sitting here at the end of 2023? That is going to be like a snap. How many would make you happy? How many do you impact in 2022? How many do you want to impact in 2023? And this is the easiest way to do that, because I don't know about you, but many attorneys I talk to are not staring at a blank calendar where they have time to go and drive and knock on doors. So this is the best way to educate. And just lastly, I will say your existing clients and your referral sources, they are waiting. They are meeting with families every single day, and they're waiting to hear from you, what you're doing, what you're talking about, getting your blogs, getting your newsletters, all the downloadable guides. I don't know if I just want to say this, if the word campaign you're not really familiar with it, I highly recommend that you get on Laura Lee's calendar and have a cup of coffee with her, because the downloadable guides that she has created for estate planning and elder law firms, I cannot tell you how your referral sources are going to be calling you, especially if you're printing them and bringing them into we need more guides. We need more guides. Our clients are taking them all. So get educated on what she means about campaigns, because I guarantee you, you have no idea until you see all the things that she's created to support you, from email to the downloadable guide, to the funnels, to the landing page, what have you. And to her point, every touch matters.
Yes.
All right, Laura Lee, thank you for being our guest today.
Thank you, Molly. It was so fun to be here. And I thank you so much for the opportunity to come on and share what I'm seeing work and crush things for our clients in 2023.
Yes. All right, guys, no excuses. Get visible, get digital, get social, and get nurturing your database. We've reached the end of another impactful conversation on the Hire and Empower podcast. Whether this was your first episode or you're a longtime listener, I know you can tell I have passion for people. Whether you're a business owner, employee, executive, or hiring manager, I understand the situation you're in. Hiring, onboarding, and leadership is expensive, exhausting, overwhelming, and if that's not enough, it's also time-consuming. My friends, it doesn't have to be this way. There is a team at H&E that has your back. For over 25 years, they've transformed over 4,000 law firms into efficient, effective, profitable assets for their business and made it fun to come to work again. Check out our Smart Hire solution, our employee leadership program, and the 66-day law firm turnaround at hiringandempowering.com.